If you're a fan of unusual techniques and you like a little jeopardy with your art, you might love this ink resist technique. It's also called gouache wash off, which gives you a clue to the technique. It produces an image which is almost like a woodblock print or a lino cut, but this is a painting. And the principle is that we paint the picture with gouache and this protects the paper. We then coat the entire thing with black ink. The black ink goes into any gaps and adheres to the paper, but it can't where the gouache is. We then wash the entire thing under water. The gouache dissolves, taking away the excess ink, and we get left with an image like this. So I teach this process online and I always use coloured gouache when I'm doing this. Some of that colour washes away, but we get a far more muted sort of stain left behind, and it gives this lovely sort of vintage feel to the image. And there's another one. Oh, let me just show you over my shoulder. Look, Gertie Goose up there. But I got to thinking, what if I turned it around? What if I coloured the paper first and then only painted with white gouache and then did the ink process? How would it turn out? Only one way to find out, and this is the result of my experiment. So I'd love for you to join me to see how I produce these irises. My name is Liz Chatterton. I'm a watercolour artist based in Berkshire. Every week I share tips and tricks that I wish I'd known about ages ago. I do love to experiment, so please join me and see how this ink resist technique works. First thing I've done is sketch my design onto my paper. This paper is about 34 centimetres, so just over 12 inches, 13 inches square. It's watercolour paper. This is Bockingford. It's £140, which is 300 grams per square metre. And you need to check your paper because some paper will fall apart when we do this, and that is really depressing. But I know Bockingford will work, so just test a scrap of paper and give it a good scrub under the tap and make sure nothing nasty happens. I'll put a photo of this sketch into the discussion section on YouTube, so that if you want to copy it, you are very welcome. You could leave out the frame. I'm just putting that in because I thought it'd be fun. You could reverse it, you can put in extra buds, extra leaves, make it your own, but you're very welcome to have a look at that. The next thing we need to do is test out our colours. These are drawing inks. We need to make sure they're waterproof once dry because we're going to colour the paper and it will be totally immersed. I'm using drawing ink from Jackson's because I happen to have it. Winsor & Newton do beautiful ones, and you could use acrylic inks, and actually those might be better because the problem with drawing inks is they are not light fast. They're what we call fugitive and they will fade in UV, but I'm using them because I just love these colours. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? So I have chosen 3 colours only. This is a Prussian, they call it a Prussian blue, they call this purple, it's very pink, but then I have mixed up the purple with the blue to get a deeper purple, real iris purple, which I rather like, and then I've mixed the blue and the yellow to make a green for the leaves. On the other side of this, you can see I was testing before, and just to show that it is waterproof, put some water over there and it hardly moves, it stays. Now we're ready to go, and I've got a really big, rather nasty brush. Look at that. It doesn't matter because I'm just going to use this to wet the surface. So clean water, wet the surface. You cannot do this with watercolours because we are going to have to wash the whole thing off and your watercolours will disappear. Now I'm going to do this very loosely. I'm just going to put the ink on vaguely in the right place because I think that will be part of the charm of this. And that's why I did my drawing first, because I wanted to know where. Oh, look at those edges. I mean, they'll probably disappear at some point, but hey, never mind. And then we'll put in some nice bright yellow into the middle and let it just mix on the paper. Got my green going on. Let's get some blue in the background. Just thinking, I'm going to do some blue around the edges. This is our wild underpainting, and already you can see the energy in there, and we need to let that dry completely. I wouldn't use a hairdryer on it until it's only sort of damp. When it's this wet, if you used a hairdryer, you're going to start to really move things around. Everything is totally dried, and now we come to the resist part. And what you need is white gouache. The principle is that this acts as a barrier, as a resist between the black ink that we are going to put over our paper. And when we wash it off, we will end up with our woodblock print effect. Now, here I've just squeezed out some of the gouache and it's thick. You can see me mashing it up. I've added a little water to thin it down. If we paint it, the colour that's underneath this white paint is going to be the colour we end up with. And if we leave it blank so you can see this colour, it'll end up black. So we're doing it reverse way. So it needs to be thick enough to stop the ink getting through, so it actually resists the ink, but thin enough that we can actually spread it and get fine lines. And it's quite a painstaking process. There is no way of getting around that. So here, say in this leaf, I want to save the inside colour, but I want it to have a black outline. So that is why I'm leaving a very narrow gap. And if you find it confusing what you should leave and what you shouldn't, just pencil the lines in for yourself to remind you. I'm going to carry on with the painting, and I'll come back when I'm about halfway through so that you can see how it's going. If you want to get finer lines, what you can do is get something that's got a point to it, like a skewer, but not too sharp, because we're not wanting to cut the paper. But you can actually score through the gouache. I want to put some finer lines into the iris leaf. And if they don't come out perfect, that actually will suit me. When you're sure your painting is entirely dry, you need to grab some waterproof Indian ink. This stuff stains, do go careful. Again, I've got Jackson's ink because I really like it. You need a wide flat brush, and we are going to cover the entire surface with Indian ink. Try to do it just in one stroke. Don't go backwards and forwards, otherwise the water in the ink will end up dissolving and loosening the gouache, and we don't want that. Be generous with your ink, but you don't want puddles. It's a bit scary doing this because you're obliterating the hours of work that you've just spent on your painting. Something else to think about, maybe just shortening your brush stroke, still only doing one stroke per area, but alternating the direction just in case the edges of the stroke do show through. You'll end up with a really stripy painting. Be careful, keep a light touch, and definitely don't go backwards and forwards. Good thing is this dries incredibly quickly. Once your ink's fully dry, it's the fun bit here, and you just need some water. It can be running water, or it can be a bowl, a washing up bowl full of water. And we have to rub the ink off. Can you see that the ink is washing away? And that's because the gouache underneath is just dissolving, and it takes the excess ink with it. And we're using a brush we don't particularly care about to tickle it, and it will come off a lot easier if everything is really dry. We have an iris, and this is why that ink underneath does need to be waterproof. And you don't want to scrub all the ink off, because actually the little breakthrough bits are what gives it such character. So say this sort of lump here that's got of left behind, actually I like that. So it's going to be your judgment of how much you want to scrub off, how much you can scrub off, because maybe if you didn't put your gouache on thickly enough, maybe you won't be able to get it all off. And we're starting to see that entire picture, aren't we? You can see that where I scored through the gouache, the lines did come out very fine, so that I'm really pleased with how those leaves came out, and say how this bud has come out. So that's what that looks like now. And sometimes people ask me, well, why don't you just do it as line and wash, put the colour on and then go over with black ink? Why go to all that hassle with the resist? Well, of course, it's because you get these such characterful lines. You never know what's coming, for good or for ill, and it gives this sort of woodblock print or lino cut print sort of effect to it, which I absolutely love. I have got a really detailed course over at lizchattertonstudio.co.uk, which teaches the first way round of using coloured gouache. I thought this was just going to be interesting by putting the colour on first and then just using the white gouache. And actually, I think that's come out quite strong. This is still damp. People say, oh, doesn't it cockle awfully? Well, because it's so thoroughly wet, no, it doesn't. And here's the finished piece. If I did it this way around again, starting with the colour, then I think I would be a bit more careful how I applied it. And I might also do a little more in the background. But as an experiment and a first attempt, I really like how it's come out. If you are interested in a more detailed step-by-step approach, don't forget to check out my online courses over at lizchattertonstudio.co.uk. Thanks for watching.